And good evening, everyone. Welcome to this live meditation session tonight. Obviously, we are all cocooning right now. I like that word that somebody, I think it was a doctor here in Madison, said instead of that social distancing. I like that idea of cocooning because we're taking that time to take care of ourselves. Uh, and well, in this case, in a little bit, being quiet and meditating, but knowing that we have to do what we need to do. And I know it may feel like a very scary time now. And certainly my heart goes out to anyone who's already been affected by it. If you have families, family members, friends, in other areas that they've been affected by the coronavirus, personally, certainly, our thoughts and hearts are with those people right now. But the things that we can do as we're dealing with this, our everyday schedule has been upended. Some of you may be working at home. Maybe you have kids that are not in school now; they're at home, etc. We're everything's closed or closing as each moment goes by that we are not able to do the things that we normally would do. And so, yeah, that may bring a lot of stress. Probably has already, right? I know even for me, it can at times too. Now, I'm Deb Phelps. I'm a meditation practitioner and instructor. I've been meditating for 40 years. I'm 56, so I'm just about all of my life that I've been meditating. And it always has been a great foundation and a grounding for me. And I hope to share that with you tonight as well. And even with that, I have my thing I'm concerned about. Uh, but I am working on my spiritual path and knowing that I can trust. I have a studio here in Madison that where I do meditation, yoga, restorative yoga, gentle yoga, chair yoga. I do crystal singing bowls, meditations, and sound healings, and energy healings, and a lot of other things, other mind, body, spirit modalities. So for that, for me, I'm shut down. I was shut down since Saturday when I made the decision, and at least for 2 weeks till the 31st. It could be longer, and a lot of businesses and business people, small businesses. I'm a very small business owner. My business is pretty small. Are going through the same exact thing. But we can learn to bring calm into the chaos that we've been experiencing and may continue to experience. And it's important that we do stay grounded at this time. We see on the news a lot of things. We see the run on toilet paper, among other things. And that's because of the fear and the anxiety that's going on. So, meditation can help us with this stressed life that we have right now. We're overstimulated because of all the information coming in. We were already this way before the coronavirus came into our lives. And now our life is unbalanced and upended. And we were accustomed to stress, not the stress that we're dealing with now, but we have been accustomed to stress where we would think a text was a tiger or an email was a tiger or the boss yelling at me was a tiger. But now we seem to even have a bigger tiger with the coronavirus. Well, meditation can help with all of this. Now, when we practice meditation, it will help us to reduce the anxiety, even depression that we may be feeling. We may have a reduction in pain. We may have better cardiovascular health, reduced chance of brain decline, for instance. Those are some things that meditation can help with. And of course, you check in with your doctor if this is right for you. So when we're looking at this idea of stress, we probably have heard the fight or flight or freeze that can occur. And you probably have experienced that yourself. And that's sympathetic nervous system. And uh, that's what's at work when we have that stress going on. And it's responsible for the response that I just said, the fight, flight, or freeze that can occur. And it's preparing us to control the body's responses to stress, injuries, perceived threats, that sort of thing. Now, on the other hand, the parasympathetic nervous system, well, that's referred to as rest and digest. And so this is that's responsible, the nervous system that's responsible for uh, in times that you have non-emergencies, right? It controls the body's responses to rest and help your body regulate its normal daily organ functions. And an easy way to remember which one is the sympathetic and which one's the parasympathetic is S for sympathetic and peace for parasympathetic. And they both originate in the spinal cord. So another thing I'd like to talk about is maybe you've heard the term neuroplasticity, okay? And that's the ability of the brain to change itself and change those well-worn paths. Now, if you think about a path in the woods, or maybe you have an area in your backyard that's worn in the grass, and that's the well-worn path, right? And so we can change those pathways in the brain. So maybe even take a moment for yourself right now. Do you notice yourself whenever you respond automatically without stopping to choose a response, that knee-jerk response, for instance? Have you thought about that? We don't really think about it, right? So we can change that, just like grass that's been trampled on over and over again. We can change the pathway in our brain as well. So within our brain, on that side, gray matter in the brain that's called the amygdala, and along with the hippocampus, it is part of the limbic system. And it's the key role in emotional response. It's the security guard, the panic button, the smoke detector, guard dog, all in one. And it's activated to keep you safe. So maybe you can think of a time when the amygdala was activated to keep you safe. Maybe just take a moment to think about that. And the thing is meditation can help to calm the amygdala. And that's what we're here tonight to do, to look at meditation for stress relief, right? So, even checking in with yourself right now, check in with your breath. Just notice, just observe. Are you breathing up here from your chest and your shoulders? Are you breathing a little bit further down? Or are you breathing from the belly? Most of us, if we're going through stress right now, we're breathing up here in the chest. So, just kind of even notice that for a moment. Right. What do you notice? Huh? Breathing from the chest, probably. So, what we want to do is we want to do some techniques that will help us whenever we are dealing with stress. So, a couple of stress breaths that we can use, just a basic relaxation breathing, pretty simple to remember. So, we're going to inhale to 4 through the nose, 2, 3, 4. And then when we exhale, we're going to have our lips pursed like we're blowing out a candle, and we're going to exhale to 8. Okay. So inhaling, 2, 3, 4, and exhaling, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do a couple more of those together. Okay. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. And let's do one more. And then just take a moment to observe, letting your breath return to its natural rhythm. And what is it that you observe? Do you notice that your breath has slowed down just a little bit, that you feel a little bit calmer? Then you can see how something very simple like this can assist you. So, what we want to do, and you can use that anytime. Another one that I like to teach is the sensory awareness. So, we've got the breath that you can use, and your breath is portable, you can take it anywhere. And then we have sensory awareness, and you could think of it five, four, three, two, one. So, we have five senses, right? We have touch, we have sight. Let's start with sight because that's usually what I start with. Sight, we have touch, we have our ears, right? Listening. We have our nose, our smelling, and then our fifth one is our taste. So, what you can do, and maybe even just do this with me now, is just find an object in the room that you're sitting in, okay? And as you've never seen this object before, and so I'm going to lead you through this. So go ahead and look at that object. I'm looking at something that's a decoration on the wall behind the camera here, and just tracing that with your eyes. Just noticing the color, the shape, size, what it may be made out of, and just being with that particular object. And now let's move to a second object. So, any object that you like, wherever you are, I'm going to look down here, looking at that object, just noticing it like you've never seen it before, color, size, shape, etc. What's it made out of? Well, now a third object. Find another object in the room that you're in. Just observing and noticing. And let's find a fourth object, doing the same as we've done before. Like you've never seen this object before. What do you notice about it? What little idiosyncrasies do you notice about this object? And then finally, a fifth object. And so now let us close our eyes and we'll do four things that we can touch. Okay. And so as you close your eyes, maybe you want to just do your pant leg, or if you're wearing a skirt or what have you, and just really feeling any bumps, ridges that may be there, maybe the threads of the material. Now you can't see the material, so you're really relying on your sense of touch right now. Let's move to the second object. I'm going to take my scarf, for instance, and I know there's fringes at the end, so I'm just going to just notice the difference between the edge of the scarf and the fringes. Now, maybe you want to use another garment or maybe the chair you're sitting on, whatever that may be. Just kind of noticing it with your sense of touch. And then finding another object, maybe it's your hair, noticing the texture of your hair. What do you notice about that? And then one more. Maybe it's something that's a little further out from where you are. What does that feel like? Is it hard? Is it soft? What kind of texture does it have? And then we return back. And now let's do three things that we can hear. And so let's start with maybe something that's outside of our room, maybe even outside that we can hear. Maybe there's a siren going by, maybe a car tooting its horn, whatever. Let's listen for that first sound and notice the quality of that sound, the timbre, the softness, the loudness of that sound. And now maybe coming in a little bit closer, maybe in your house, maybe you hear the washing machine downstairs running or something else, maybe a TV in another room. And then a final sound, maybe something in the room that you're in right now. Maybe it's the sound of voice. Just listening to that, tuning into that. What do you notice about that sound? And now let's go to our sense of smell. Now you may want to just take your sleeve this time and maybe just smell. Maybe you smell the detergent or the fabric softener, whatever it is that you used. And just noticing the quality of the smell. Is it a sweet smell? Is it sour? Is it pleasant? Is it unpleasant? Really paying attention to that smell. And then a second object here. I've got a live plant beside me. Maybe it seems like it doesn't smell like anything, but there may be something there. And then finally, taste. Now, I usually save taste for last because a lot of times when I'm doing a class, well, we usually don't have anything that we're eating or what have you. But it may be what you could do is just run your tongue over your teeth, maybe your toothpaste, maybe the last thing you have, maybe coffee, tea, whatever, onions, that sort of thing. Or if you have some nearby, like I do right here, just taking a sip. And really being with whatever that taste is. And so as you come back and you join me here, that was our sensory awareness practice. What do you notice about yourself from the time that we started till now. And you may find that you've just maybe more of a calm, maybe a more of a presencing, of being present to what is. Maybe there was something that you saw or felt that, oh, wow, I never noticed this before about this particular object. Well, see, that's what this helps us to do, is to become more present, to kind of let the outside, whatever else is going on, stimuli, to then come into the present moment. And it helps us. So that's something that you can use while you're here at home, or if you go to the doctor's office, grocery store, that sort of thing, that you can use those senses to kind of help to ground you, to bring you back to that present moment. All right. So let's do a deep breathing exercise. So yeah, I'm going to just keep sharing. So I'm going to do this deep breathing, quick exercise, and then we're going to do a longer meditation. Okay. So, in this exercise, I'll share how deep breathing practices can influence your sympathetic nervous system. Remember, I talked about that a little bit ago. And it relax your body, improve your immune system as well. So, when was the last time that you really thought about your breath? Before I mentioned it, of course. Well, your breath is the only thing that you control, which enables you to proactively affect your own involuntary nervous system, uh, which is the autonomic nervous system, sympathetic. So it's pretty interesting that we can use specific techniques of breathing to decrease the sympathetic nervous system and to increase the parasympathetic nervous system. And remember that parasympathetic nervous system. So the sympathetic that's that flight, fright, or freeze, right? And the sympathetic nervous system is that rest and digest. Now, typically, when my studio is open on Wednesday nights, I was doing a rest and restore, which is a restorative yoga. Also, I did right before I closed a very gentle yoga practice with the yoga nidra, which is a conscious relaxation um, meditation. And these sorts of practices, restorative yoga, this helps us to drop down, to down regulate, and to help us to increase the parasympathetic, right? That's what we want to do. We want that more rest. So, why is it important? Well, because when the sympathetic nervous system is dominant, your breathing is fast, short, and shallow. Remember, I had you check in at the beginning. So, it's believed to be the major contributor to headaches and migraines and chronic pain of all kinds when we're in that fight, flight, fright, fight, fright, flight, fright, or freeze. Let's try to say that 3 times fast, right? When we're in that, that's when we're all tensed up, we're breathing shallowly, we're not uh, relaxing at all. So when we can activate this with our breath, and we can do it just with our breath, when we start to breathe slower, deeper, and longer, we're activating the sympathetic nervous system, restoring balance to the system, and optimizing the breath. So what we have in our breath is change the breathing qualities. So this short exercise that we'll do, the goal is to focus on making the breath deeper, quieter, more regular, and slower as often as possible. And the more often you do this, the more often you put the parasympathetic nervous system in the driver's seat, okay? And you're calming down that sympathetic nervous system. So, in the depths of mindfulness, there is less of a distinction between the breather and the breath, and the feeler feeling, the experiencer and experience. They start to blend and become one and the same. And so deep breathing exercises have a variety of benefits, right? Physically, emotionally, spiritually as well. So using the breath as the focal point doubles the physical, emotional, and spiritual benefits you feel on a daily basis. So let's do the guided mindful breathing practice to emphasize these techniques. So, as you get comfortable where you are, sitting nice and straight, not rigid in the back, but nice, long, extended spine, feet flat on the floor, unless you like to sit cross legged. And as we begin, let's just notice the breath as we did earlier, noticing the breath. Maybe you are a little slower now because of the sensory awareness practice that we did. So, making that breath deeper, slower, a little longer with the exhales, making the breath quieter, regular, and slower. That's our goal here, right? So you can focus on the feeling of the abdomen. Maybe you want to place your hands on your abdomen, and that rising and the falling with the in breath and the out breath. Just mindfully being with the breath. And even if it helps, you can do a 4 to 6 or 4 to 8 ratio. So inhaling 4, exhaling to 6. And just non judgmentally observing your breathing from moment to moment, bringing the attention back to the breath and the present moment when the mind wanders. So let's do this a little longer. Excellent. Very well done. So, to recap, we have specific techniques of breathing that will help us to decrease the sympathetic nervous system. Remember the fight, fright, or free, or there I go again. Fight, flight, or freeze, right? We can decrease that. And then we can increase rest and digest was what? The parasympathetic nervous system. So why is this important? Because when the sympathetic nervous system is dominant, your breathing is fast, short, and shallow. And remember, it can contribute to pain, chronic pain. And the goal is we keep working on the deeper, longer, quieter, regular, and slower breath as often as possible. And the more you do this, the more you'll put that parasympathetic nervous system in the driver's seat. So I hope that some of this has been useful for you as we get into our guided meditation. So, this guided meditation today is Sanctuary of Peace, and it puts into practice some of what we've just learned. And knowing that our mind is designed to receive input, expand, develop, all of that, And today, as we know, we can become overstimulated, stressed, and life becomes unbalanced. So we've been accustomed to the overstimulation, and it's difficult. We can find sometimes to get back to that peace. But when you realize that within you is that sanctuary of peace, the antidote is there. That's your antidote to an overstimulated mind. And so, what is an antidote? But it's a substance or remedy given to counteract or neutralize a particular poison, unpleasant feeling, or situation. So, spending time in your sanctuary of peace is the antidote to the stimulation and the stress. So, all you need to do to gain benefit is to be there for a while and regain balance. So, the way of the sanctuary of peace is a little different than what you've been accustomed to. So, we want to um, seek the sanctuary of peace within us rather than trying to seek outside of ourselves for what we should do next. So, the more that we spend time with the present moment, uh, the more peace that we will find in our lives. And certainly, just like a good night's sleep can bring a lot of clarity of thinking and help us to resolve maybe an issue or a situation that we couldn't resolve before. Well, that's what the same thing does with going into the sanctuary of peace. So, if you will, make yourself comfortable and we'll get ready to do this. I'm going to put an image up on the screen so you're not distracted by me. So, just hang on one second as I do this. Right. So sit comfortably upright so you can relax and go within without falling asleep. Close your eyes and take a slow, deep breath. Adjusting your breathing will allow you to more easily spend time within your sanctuary of peace. So continue to breathe deeply and slowly, taking comfortably full breaths. Some of us tend to breathe using our chest, others with our abdomen. But if you can, use your belly, allowing it to expand as you breathe in and relax as you breathe out. So now bring your focus into your heart center in the center of your chest. Maybe even placing your hands there if you like. This will help you to relax your mind, to wind down, to unbusy yourself, and begin to enter your sanctuary of peace. So for now, take just a minute to simply focus in your heart and continue to breathe deeply and slowly. We can think of life as a current of energy within us, a river of peaceful support that we all share. It connects us to each other and sustains us. When you tap into your sanctuary of peace, there within your heart, you can experience that current of energy, the river of life. So take a little longer to sit quietly, breathe deeply and slowly, focus in your heart, and simply be attentive to the river of life within you. It's not often easy to quiet the mind, especially at the beginning. The mind is like a flywheel with its own momentum and takes a while to spin down. To think about relaxing the mind is to stimulate it further. So the best approach is to simply watch it, recognize when it's spinning, and bring your focus back to your heart. So take a little longer to sit quietly, focus in your heart, and simply attend to the river of life within you, within your sanctuary of peace. When you find yourself thinking, refocus in your heart and breathe. Most of the time, we're busy doing something, thinking about something we'll do, or thinking about something we did. In your sanctuary of peace, there is nothing to do. It's like sitting by a peaceful river on a Sunday afternoon and simply watching the water. And soon the placid scene in front of you begins to reflect inside you, and you feel quiet, calm, and still. So take some more time to experiment by quietly focusing in your heart, simply being without the need to do anything. We spend so much of our time being active, thinking, doing, influencing, creating. But your sanctuary of peace is a place for receiving. What you receive there can be described as comfort, healing, love, or peace. Receiving these doesn't require any action on your part or any thought. All you need to do is just be open, relaxed, and receptive, and they will come. So take a little while to quietly focus in your heart, rest in your sanctuary of peace, relax, open, and receive. It's almost time to return. So, remembering your heart center, remembering your sanctuary of peace, very gently make yourself aware of your physical surroundings and begin to come fully into your outside world, remembering that you can visit your sanctuary of peace anytime to rest and receive. So, so my friends, you've experienced now some sensory awareness, some breathing, and then finally our sanctuary of peace meditation. Now, remembering that um, our meditation practice, even if you're just starting out, helps to reduce stress, right? It When we reduce our stress, it helps to strengthen the immune system. And so, a strengthened immune system then can help our body fight illness. So, that's something to think about as you continue uh, a practice of meditation. Now, I'm here to support you as well. I started today. Today's Monday, March 16th. Every day, I will be doing one of my short meditations uh, from the Meditation Pebbles podcast that I have. And I'll be posting it to all three of the Facebook pages, the Meditate Madison page, the Meditate with Deb, and Meditation Stepping Stones. And if you're a member of Miracles One, it'll be on that page as well. So every day there'll be a new meditation, a 5-minute meditation, because that's what I always recommend to people. If you're starting out with a meditation practice, just start with 5 minutes a day. Now, these meditations are short and they're briefly guided, and they will greatly assist you. And I hope that you've learned a thing or two tonight, that I have assisted you in maybe starting a meditation practice, restarting your meditation practice. And if you feel that you've received benefit from this session tonight, you can send a donation through the PayPal link, paypal.me slash Rev Deb Phelps, or you can go to meditatemadison.com, meditatewithdeb.com, and meditationsteppingstones.com, stepstoinnerpeace.com. All of those are my sites for meditation, yoga, and other mind, body, spirit practices. So thank you so much for joining with me tonight. Uh, Practicing, reduce that stress, reduce that anxiety, and you'll be better for it. So, thanks again for joining with me. I wish you peace. Namaste.